In this quick tutorial, I'm going to work in this section so we can make it dynamic as well. So here we have only the latest recipes, and we can display like up to 4 recipes. And here we can just have the title of the recipe and then the category where this recipe has been published under. So let us just get back to our IDE, and here simply I'm going to pass another variable containing the latest recipes. So I will get back to my routes, and here I'm going to define one more variable called latest recipes, and this one is going to use the recipe model as well. So let me just write recipe, and then I'm going to order them by the creation date. So I'm going to write here latest, and then we are going to grab like 4 recipes, and then to execute the query I'm going to use get. Now just bear in mind that we have to pass this variable to view, right? So I'm going to use this one, and let's just write the variable name. Before we go to our view, I noticed that we are here ordering by the view count, but we have to make it actually like descending, so that's why I changed the ordering method. Anyways, so let's get back to this. So right now we have new variable called latest recipes, so I can use it inside my view. So I'm just going to wrap the article tag here with the for each. So this is the for each as the latest recipes as latest recipe, and here we can just move this up, and I will remove the second example. So now we are good to go, and we can make this one dynamic. When it comes to the link, right now we don't have any single view, so I'm just going to make it like this for now. And for this one, I'm just going to go like we did in the previous lesson, which is just making a random number between 1 and 6. When it comes to the title, I know for a fact that I can use those 2 curly braces, and I can just display the title of the recipe. For the category, for now, we don't have categories. We are going to make them in the next tutorial. But for now, let me just display the name of the category as in category title just for me, so I can remember it. And that's it, believe it or not. Now we can try it. And indeed, we have those recipes. Now, how about we enhance this? So let's just use Blade components. Let me begin by closing those extra tabs, and simply I will get back to here. So in this file, everything is perfect. However, we can just take advantage of Blade components, and I will show you this in a second. If we to go simply to refactor, and we click on extract to a Blade component, then PHP is going to ask me what's the name of this component. So I'm going to name it as recipe card, and this one is the small one, so I'm just going to have SM next to it. I will create it as a blade only, not as a blade and class, and then I'm going to open it after doing so. Or you know what, let me just not open it so you can see it. And then I'm going to ask it to try to call the attributes on it. And now it will ask me the variable name that it has to be passed inside that component. I would like to rename it only as a recipe so we can ease things and ease logic. Now what this did is it created a new component inside my components folder. And as you can see, it passed properties to it. By default, this is mixed. Let me just fix that by just type hinting the recipe model, and I can just, no need to actually use it. I'm just going to type hint it here so we can just have the IntelliSense working just fine. Okay, so as you can see, the only new thing is this one, which is simply taking the class, the CSS classes or the class attribute, and appending to it those, which means we can just write our own classes, and those are going to be merged into the class attribute, on which all the attributes are going to be just listed here. So let me just give you a deeper explanation. Now, the first thing is you will notice that we have X dash. And this is the way that Blade simply explains itself by having components inside Blade. So in order to make components like, I don't know, like React or like Vue or like Flutter, it's almost the same exact thing. So whenever you're making components, you can just have small pieces inside your files, and you can just use them in order to avoid any repetitive or redundant work. So in our case, we created one line of code, which is going to represent our recipe card. Now we passed a new variable to it. This variable is simply prefixed with a colon in order to determine that inside here, I'm going to write PHP code. If you not to write it here, in this case, you just have to surround it with 2 curly braces. Otherwise, it would be considered as text. So let me just get back to using one column. And this is here is file name, which is nothing fancy. However, if you would like, you can just pass variables to it. So if I to pass, for example, first of all, let's try with a class. So if you to pass, I don't know, like a foo as a class to this component, you can simply get back and refresh. Let's just open my inspect element. And as you can see here, we have foo as a class, which is good. Now just let's test adding more attributes to it. So if I maybe to add something like a custom attribute, I don't know, like a data / foo equal bar, you can simply get back and see that this has been reflected, which means you can pass any data you would like, and you can have a different behavior based on the custom attributes you are having, or maybe just a different CSS class. Now I will get back to my PHP storm, and I will just clean this because we're not using them. And what's really cool is that we can use this component anytime you wish. And what it does, it will receive a recipe, and inside it will just handle the logic related to this exact card, which is minimal work and at the same time very effective. So one last thing I would like to change here is just I'm going to display the recipe title, and after that we are almost good to go. Or actually we are totally good to go, but I just would like to make commit to those changes so we can just have a cleaner project ready for the next tutorial. Next, we will be talking about how we can create categories and at the same time just loop through each category so we can display the recipes nested under this category. And most likely we will have like 3 categories so we can just end our home page.